Alright. Welcome back to another video. Just before we get started, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support. I believe we're at 24 subscribers strong. We're still here at the very beginning stages of the channel. Still working on getting a better intro filmed and working on a better logo. But we made it. We're on YouTube. We've got videos out, and that's all that matters. Well, yeah, the only downside to this KTM so far has been misshifts. And what a misshift is basically a false neutral in between a gear. You see that? That's a misshift. There's a company that has come up with the solution to the problem. All it is a stiffer spring for your shift arm. And so that is actually on the inside of my clutch cover. I'm coming up to 10,500 miles on this bike. We've done a few oil changes since I got it, and it's time for another. I got on KTMTwins.com and I ordered myself a big 4-liter tub of oil, a Pro Shift kit, and an oil change kit. And then I had to go through the dealer for a drain plug and a clutch cover gasket. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the last little ride with the stock shifter in, also warming up the engine in the motor oil so that we can get the oil changed. But anyway, enough blabbing. We're gonna go ahead and get into the oil change and installing the Pro Shift kit. If you are not interested in this portion of the video, feel free to skip ahead. Alright, before we cut to the oil change, here's a quick time lapse of me hitting this entire road. And that right there is about it for the turns. Hope you guys enjoyed that. This is one of my favorite roads here close to my house. It's only about 2 or 3 minutes away, so I come out here and rip it all the time. Actually, this road is probably what really fueled my love for, enthusiastic driving. I got to drive this road to school every morning in my 2004 BMW 325. It was a little 5-speed coupe. Absolutely love that car. But yeah, I got to daily this road every single morning on the way to school. I just remember it being the absolute highlight of every single day in high school. Step 1, as always, lay something down. Now we're going to throw the bike up onto the rear stand. Stands up. Now I think I'm going to take the exhaust off. As you can see, it completely exposes the entire underside of the engine. Gives you the chance to clean up that area up under there if you need to. When I took my cat off, I actually had a little leak, and the leak wasn't really visible because the leak was going this way toward the center of the motor instead of dripping down. So my entire underside of my motor was kind of covered in oil and gunk. Apparently it was just dripping down onto the cat and burning, which you can see on the cat itself. Here's the full system off the bike. But you can see all up in the center where all that was just burning off. Always keep track of your hardware. This is all my hardware from the exhaust. And I found this cheap plastic tub. It actually works perfect for an oil drain pan. Believe it or not, I was actually able to do my buddy's 636 oil with this, and it filled it to the very brim. So if you got a four-cylinder bike, it will work. And that's why you put a drop cloth down. Kind of let that drain out as much as possible, and then there are 2 oil screens you got to service. You don't have to replace them every time, but since I'm approaching 10K, I'll be replacing them today. So got one right here and oil screen 2 right here. So you also have your right side oil filter and your left side oil filter. So we're gonna go ahead and take the screens out first. Alright, now I was able to clean and reuse these oil screens 3 times. Total of like 8,000 miles. And I think it's time to replace them now. And I'll show you. What they look like. That's your screen. Pretty simple. Just comes out of there like that. You can totally see all the little pieces of gunk on it. Now what I would do to clean this before is literally just take an air compressor and blow it all off, and then I would dip it and roll it in new oil. Alright, oil filters are really simple. Just take the 2 screws out and then the cover will come off. These are reusable as well. And then all you do is just pull that sucker out. As you can see, this thing is absolutely covered in nastiness. Now you can replace these every other time if you need to. Save a little bit of dough. And that is the inside of the oil filter housing. I recommend that you clean all of this gunk out. The simple wipe out is really all it takes. Now as far as things to get, you can either purchase all of these individually from your dealer, or you can go on KTMTwins.com and they sell these service kits for like 40 bucks. Comes with both the filters you need and the new screen caps, which is a must for me today because I stripped one of those out. And as always, Motorex 10W60. I don't put anything but Motorex in this sucker since day one. And then of course your drain bolt crush washer, because this is garbage. And there's the gasket for the clutch cover on the other side. Alright, we got the right side oil filter all taken out, cleaned up inside there. As you can see, the oil is completely drained out of the bike now. I've got every cover off as far as the oil goes. So now what I personally like to do is flush my oil system just to make sure that all the residual black oil is drained out into here, because that's nasty. And when you buy a full 4 liters, you save a little bit of money, so you don't really feel as bad wasting like a quarter liter of oil just to flush it. So that being said, what I like to do to flush the system is get it off of the rear stand. That gets the motor leaned over a little bit. And because the oil drain plug is on the left side and the kickstand's on the left side, naturally when you pour some more oil into the fill cap, it will drain out this side. So I'll show you guys what I mean. Always make sure your kickstand's down. That's really the #1 thing. I dropped my R6 off my stand before. That was no fun. But anyway. And there goes the residual oil that was sitting at the very bottom. Even if you don't plan on flushing your system, always get it off your stand and get it leaned over so that at least that little bit of oil that's left over will seep out. You can see that last little bit of fresh oil draining out, and that is how you do an oil change on a Duke 690 the proper way. If you're ready to go ahead and finish up your oil change, then just follow these steps in reverse order. I'd like to start by putting the oil filters back on first, and then the oil screens, and then the oil drain plug, and then you fill it up. Start the motor, let it run for a little bit, check the level, and then add more if needed. But I'm not quite ready to be done with this oil change yet. I gotta pull off this right side of the engine, this clutch cover, and I'm gonna be installing a Pro Shift kit down in here. If you don't want to see this section, feel free to skip ahead. Alright, so we got the clutch cover off, which has exposed the false neutral problem, and that would be this little shifter arm right here. Alright, I finally got the little shifter arm installed, the new one, so no more false neutrals. If you guys are going to do this, make sure to pick up a spare gasket, because my bike's got almost 10,000 miles and my gasket tore the second that I tried to take it off. So luckily I've got another one right here, and there's part number for you. Okay, we got the clutch cover back on now, and I'm gonna go ahead and proceed to put in the oil filters, the oil screens, the oil drain plug, torque those all down to spec. But now the only thing left is to put the exhaust back on, fill her up with oil, take her for a spin. 823 to fill this thing up, not bad. Well, now that we're topped off with gas, we're gonna go really test out this ProShift kit that we just installed. And so far, it has drastically improved the shifter feel. It's a lot stiffer. It feels a lot better shifting down the gears with the clutch pulled. Everything is just more crispy, man. Much more. I've concluded that it was absolutely 100% worth the money. I have not had a false neutral yet. Feels a lot better clicking in between the gears. There's a stiffer spring now. I would absolutely 100% recommend that you buy it for your KTM. I'll try to kind of explain to you guys what the ProShift kit does and why I spent the $120 on it. So think of it like this. There are 5 U's, right? Actually there's 6, because there's a U for neutral. So imagine this, there's 5 U's like this. 5 of them. Boom, like 4 and then a 5th, alright? Now, there's a shifter arm with like a circle bearing on the end of it. And that bearing is the ball that slides up into each one of those U's. Well, there's a spring, right? And the stock spring doesn't have very much tension. Now, the aftermarket spring that I got was a lot tighter, and that allows for the shifter arm to really be sprung into each one of those U's. So before, because the spring wasn't strong enough, instead of the bike going perfectly into the next gear from first right here, second, third, into each one of those U's, it would get caught on that ridge in between gears right there. You see that? That's a misshift. So what the shifter kit did was just put a better spring in there. Now that that's in, I should never have to experience a false neutral. Well, if you made it this far in the video, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the channel support. I believe we're at 24 subscribers, and we started the channel last week, so that's pretty good. Also, if you didn't like the video, please let me know why in the comments. And if you did like the video, please feel free to leave me a thumbs up, as it really helps me out. And as always, safe riding, safe wrenching, and we'll see you in the next one.